Our guest is a man of many titles. He's a Pro Bowler. He is a Lou Groza Award finalist. He is the Philadelphia Eagles kicker. He's a Super Bowl champion. That's the one I needed to add, but I think he's most known for being the freshman year roommate of 18-year-old Gabe Kuhn. Jake Elliott, come on down. Jake, what's happening, brother?
Oh, not a lot. How are you?
I'm doing well. I would imagine, like with what happened on Monday Night Football, all the Philadelphia Eagles faithful, the fans, the media, everybody's taking it in stride. Has it been a nice, easy, breezy week for you guys over in the facility?
Yeah, that's how they do it up here. Always nice and easy. So we're definitely kicking back into full gear here. We need to get one on the road here this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Now holler at me about this, because you and Annie now have a 1-year-old at home, and I haven't really checked in with you on my show or on a podcast since that's happened. How has that been since having Bo in your world now and now having the NFL, like the balance there?
Yeah, it's been a massive transition. It almost feels like two different careers when you look at it. It's like pre-baby and post-baby. How do you deal with that, right?
Yeah.
And it's been so rewarding going into work and knowing what you're coming home to, and then good or bad game coming home to him and seeing him and watching the progress he makes day to day. When he's so young, he takes these strides. He's like a different human every week. So kind of just being a part of that and being a part of something greater than me or football. And it's been unbelievable.
Yeah, for sure. Now, did you get to catch some college football this past weekend? Holler at me about that.
I did. I caught about the most important game. Big win for the boys down south.
Did you get to talk a little shit? You have Josh. Let's see, you have Josh Sweat and Johnny Wilson, I think, on the team from Florida State.
You know what? They were down bad the last 2 weeks. I didn't want to hit them too much with it early. So, 0-3 for those guys now. So I might need to wait for a win in order to give them a little shit.
They're kind of cooked, man. Seeing Norvell, because you were with Norvell for 1 year. Yeah. And then you were gone, man. Seeing that for him, it's brutal. That is as nasty as it gets. That team's I know you're not going to trash them, but that team's no good, man.
Yeah, I definitely haven't watched enough of them yet. I think Memphis does look solid though. I think they got a good team right now, so it's hard to really gauge where Florida State's at from my own perspective. I just haven't seen them enough. But knowing Mike and his staff, it's hard to figure out whether they're gonna put something together here. He's too motivating. He's got too good of a staff. He's too good of a coach. So, personally speaking, I hope they can get that thing turned around as well.
Dope. First of all, thank you for joining us, Jake. Second, man, can you kind of talk about locker room dynamics? I know people might think the kicker is the guy that get picked on, or the specialist picked on, or kind of the butt of the joke. But if you ever been in a locker room, you know that normally the specialists are some of like the funniest, coolest dudes on the team. Can you kind of talk about what it's like being a kicker in the locker room?
Yeah, man, it's fun. I mean, I've been around there long enough now where I feel like I've gained a lot of respect in the locker room, and we got a good group of dudes that get along with everybody. So we got a funny team, man. It's not we don't have any niche groups. Everyone's kind of together, and it's a fun locker room. And you look back at Memphis, like we had such a good group there. Like I was roommates with Gabe, like we were all connected. So I feel like those stereotypes are kind of left in the past now. I think everybody respects their own craft. I mean, once you get to the league, especially, like everyone's so good and so good at their individual job, and it does take everybody. It's a collective effort, and that's why football is such a cool sport. It really is not a one-man job. Like basketball, you can have one or two guys and be a successful team. It's 11 guys every single play, and it's got to work. So in that regard, like I don't think those stereotypes are really quite there anymore.
Well, and also Jake, I can tell you this dude would just kick all day. He hurt himself a couple of times in Memphis doing it. He just wouldn't stop for like all the snappers and the holders. Our guy, shout out Evan Michael, shout out Trevor Morgan. They had to pull him back sometimes. Now, holler at me about this, because I see him on Monday Night Football, and I love him, and I love how much he sort of brings to the broadcast. He was there in the booth, obviously, while you were playing. But Jason Kelce, seeing him on the other side of this thing, is that strange? Because I know how much he meant to y'all's locker room.
Yeah, how much he meant and how much he still means. I mean, the guy won't leave the building, so he's still around.
Is he still there just about every day?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, he's a local Philly guy. He's going to be there through and through. So he hangs around still, and he's still very much a part of this thing and whatever his role is. But he's got a ton of different avenues he's going down now, so he's staying busy. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And they just got that. What was it, a $100 million deal from Amazon for the new height? Shit.
Yeah,
I need something like that soon. I need something like that. Golly, I need to get my money up, man. Now holler at me about this, because this is sort of the obligational question when you talk about like Memphis football, where we both came from. Because I can tell you for a fact, I didn't know shit about Memphis football before I got the offer. Like, not a damn thing. The only reason I knew about where the school was and like that they had Division I sports is because of Derrick Rose and CDR and them in 08. Like, did you know that Memphis football even had a program when you got an offer here?
No, I mean, I'm kind of with you there. Like, I grew up in Chicago, so I obviously was a big D Rose guy. So, yeah, I knew he went to Memphis. That's pretty much all I knew at the time. I mean, I knew they were a D1 program because they were my only offer, and that's why I took it. And but once I got down there, man, like once I got down on my recruiting trip and was able to see the city and kind of see what the program stood for, and got to meet Justin and Coach Sheebs at the time, like a lot of good dudes and a lot of great coaches in that building when you look back at it. So yeah, like you didn't know a ton about it, but I'm grateful that I got that opportunity and took it.
Yeah, now with Coach Sheebs, Kyron and I, a couple weeks, was it 2 weeks ago, we had Barry Odom on, Coach Odom. And he at UNLV now. You know, Sheebs is coaching at UNLV. Have you caught up with this crazy ass lately, man? That guy's still crazy as all get out. I
need to give him a call. The problem is when you call him, he talks for about 5 minutes. You can't get a word in. So I might have to mute him or something and get some talking in.
He's one of those football coaches, and I know we all had him. And we can, you just know them. Like every time you see them in the hallway or strike up a conversation, it's just like strictly football. There's like, it's barely about your life. There's nothing else. Like I was like the third stringer on Punt Shield my sophomore year. Every time I saw him, he's like, "Hey, baby, when you sit, you got to slide over, get big." It's like, man, I'm third string on Punt Shield. I'm not going to be on the field doing this shit. He's just one of those coaches.
It's turning in his mind every hour of the day. So he's got to get it out every time he sees you.
That's dope. I was wondering, the end of the game didn't go how you guys wanted, but let's say you guys did get into field goal range. There's 4 seconds left on the clock. What's your process like getting ready for those big kicks? I mean, I did a little bit of research before. You have a 61-yard game-winning field goal before. What's the process like? Do you have a mental routine you go through? Do you just want to get some cuts in? Do you kind of like the extra time that you get iced per se? What's your process like for that?
Yeah, I try to do a good job about not trying to change my process at all when we get in those situations. So it does feel like every kick does have a good rhythm to it, a good routine. Feels like I've been there before without getting, because it's hard to get those reps in. But you get as many as you can during training camp, during practice, and then I like to stay over in the net area, and I'm kind of hitting the ball just to stay loose and stay in a rhythm every down. So first down, second down, third down, I try to hit one, especially in those drives where it can come pretty quickly. And I'm communicating with Nick, with our special teams coordinator, just, hey, where do we need to get to here? Like the other night, we had a good right to left wind. Like if we can call a play, get it to the right hash, that'd be helpful. But just having those conversations, knowing we've gone through these situations a million times is helpful, obviously.
What about Coach Soriano? He's a fiery dude, man. Like he celebrates like y'all play, like the players. Like the other night, seeing CJ Gardner-Johnson getting that nice 4th and 1 stop. By the way, that was beautiful football. I still can't get over that play. That was nuts. That was ridiculous. But he's celebrating with you guys. Like I know he is the coach, but like is he more of? He's like sort of in the same line as you guys. Obviously, he's going to give you messaging and he's going to give you speeches and things like that. And there's a respect factor with that, but it feels like he's more in line with one of you guys, still relatively young and still has that fire in him.
Yeah, man, he's one of the guys and he brings energy every day. I think that's why we love him here, but he also breaks down situational football like I've never seen it before. Like we will go through like you might see a situation once every 20 years in this league, and we will rep that situation 4,000 times. Like as a kicker who's been out of offensive, defensive meetings my whole life, like I have never been so football smart since he's arrived, and it's just because we rep these situations over and over and over again to the point where, like, I know what play call's coming on third down when we're in certain situations because I need to know that when I'm about to go out on the field. Like, I know what he's thinking constantly. So while he shows that fire and that passion and seems like a crazy dude on the sidelines, that's not necessarily him all the time, but he is one of us. And I think all the guys respect that about him. Makes you want to play for him. And he's just a smart dude.
Does it kind of confuse you? Like, it seems like just sort of nationally, and I get there's other fan bases that hate on you guys because you guys have done a lot of winning under Nick, but it's like, it feels like there's this negative connotation sometimes when people talk about Coach Sirianni. And I like, do you understand any of that? Is it just sort of like, man, I don't care, who gives a damn what they have to say about him?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Obviously, you hear it a little bit here and there. I mean, we're in a big sports market. It's Philadelphia. It's always been known for that. But being in the doors and understanding who he really is, I obviously I don't see all that stuff. I don't get any of that. But
right.
You know, I know who he is as a person to the core, and what he cares about and what his values are, and how he values the team, and everything he does is for the team. So it's easy for me to get behind him and back him.
Yeah, now do me a favor and holler at me about the new kickoff rules. I need to know about that because you're not kicking off anymore, are you?
I haven't the last 2 games. No, I don't.
But you could if they want you to just bang it out of the back of the end zone, they'll probably throw you in there.
Well, that's what Braden's been doing the last 2 games.
Right.
So Braden's got a big leg. He's kicked off before, so it's kind of nice having the option to have 2 guys that can do it. And then we're obviously working all these specialty kicks on the side that we'll probably need a lot more once the season gets going. The cold weather comes in, ball's not traveling as far, so it's still a little bit of a work in progress, I think, around the league for everybody. But it is different. It'll be interesting to see how it changes the game.
Well, I don't want to get you in trouble, but do you want to pick one or the other, old rules or new rules?
I mean, I do think it can be an exciting play. I also think it's like you said, you don't want to get me in trouble, but yeah. I also do think it is slightly more dangerous for head injuries.
Really?
The way the new one comes, because everybody is now, there's no levels anymore. Like, everyone's on one level, so people are caving at the ball east and west, and it's a lot of friendly fire coming across the field, shooting your shot, trying to make a play. But it's a lot of guys shooting at one level, if that makes sense.
See, that's kind of wild because I feel like this was like a thought of not letting a kickoff team get this crazy ass run up. But I think most of the time when you kick the ball out of the back of the end zone, you're not even making contact. Right. I guess that's sort of the idea.
Yeah, they're trying to eliminate obviously like the long sprints, high speed collisions, but you're still kind of getting that just in a different way, because now guys are shooting across from east and west trying to make a play at the 25-30 yard line, and we're used to have kind of stacked levels, and there wasn't necessarily those big collisions.
There's just been more returns, right? Like, that's sort of the idea of what we've been seeing so far. Like, the positive returns of this thing is that they have been returning the ball a little bit more, but there hasn't been massive big plays yet.
Yeah, nothing crazy yet. I think, like I said, once the weather gets a little bit colder and the ball isn't traveling as much, I think you're going to get probably a little bit more action.
And I think one of my biggest issues, because you were good at this at the University of Memphis, the surprise onside, takes that out of the game, man.
Yeah,
like, that's completely gone. Like, coming out of halftime, trying to steal a possession, that's cooked now, because you have to literally walk up to the ref and say, we are onside kicking. That's the part of it that does bother me to a certain extent. I know that bothers you at least a tad bit.
Yeah, for sure. No, it was big. If you got a kicker that can execute some of those things, and you find a good scheme, and you can scheme up another team and find a guy bailing early or whatever it may be, you're able to steal one, and it can be a big momentum shift in the game.
Yeah, no. When's your bye week, by the way? Let's
early.
Okay.
Or week 5.
You going to be able to make it to a Memphis game this year?
Same bye week.
That's tough.
Damn.
It is every year. I swear.
I got one more for you, and I hated getting asked this question when I was still playing. But have you ever thought about what you're going to do? You know, when you hang up the cleats, whenever that time comes. Hopefully, it's a long time from now. But everybody and their mom has a podcast now, especially athletes are jumping in the field. A lot of guys go into coaching. Do you see yourself getting into any one of those realms when you're done?
Oh, it's gonna be interesting. I don't know for sure yet. It's something I've definitely thought about a lot as I've been getting a little bit older. I I think it'll be hard for me to not be involved in football in some way. I like every off season, I'm so excited once the off season begins and like I get a little time, but then there's a point in like April where it's like, all right, I'm kind of ready to go back and be around it again.
You think some type of coaching or drilling?
I don't know if it'll be coaching or if it'll be like more specialist training. I could definitely work in the NFL, like with kickers specifically, I think, or doing camps of some sort. I'm like just like a little bit addicted to like the fundamentals of field goal kicking, of helping guys. Like every time Braden's out there punting, like I feel like I'm trying to give my input, whether he likes it or not. He usually doesn't like it, but I feel like it's fun for me to kind of dissect what things are going wrong, what things are going right, and I could see myself in that role at some point.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the Corn Ferry Tour maybe after you're done, something like that. Come on, brother. I know you play a bunch of golf.
We'll definitely start playing a little bit more golf, and we'll see. If I get really good really fast, maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, well, have you won a couple of tournaments in the off season? Because I know you participate in a bunch.
I haven't won any tournaments, but it has been fun. Philly is such like an old amateur golf ridden city, where there's a million like high amateur level tournaments. I've put my name in the hat and played in a couple of them and played well enough to qualify for some of the bigger ones. So it has been a lot of fun. But getting into competitive golf is totally different, man. I feel so uncomfortable in that setting. Like standing over a 4-foot putt in a tournament setting is so much different than with your buddies.
Yeah.
But it is fun to get in that competitive mindset in the off season and do it in something I'm just totally uncomfortable in.
Yeah, when I stand over a 4-foot putt, I like having like a light beer within like arm's reach.
Right.
So
right.
like I cannot relate to that in the slightest.
No, we've definitely in tournament settings gotten to the 9th hole and been like, I think I just need one here.
Yeah, to turn, get a glizzy and a light beer. No, that's how it needs to work out.
That'll make me feel better about myself.
Yeah, well, he's a $24 million man, Lou Groza Award finalist, kicker for the Eagles, Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, Jake Elliott. Jake, appreciate the heck out of it, man. Let's do this again soon.
You got it. Thanks, brother. Good to see you.
Yes, sir.